Sorry about that, guys. What's up, y'all? Making sure I wasn't gonna die while trying to initiate a video, because that would suck. Also, I probably wouldn't be around to post the crash video so you guys could enjoy it on one of those random crash channels, as I so know people like to watch. So let's get into the taters and the meats of this video. This one is a mental health topic. It's been a minute since I did one of those, because I just haven't gotten around to doing one. But I just got revitalized because I got another text fight on Tonic. If you don't have Tonic, go ahead and download that motorcycle community app. It's pretty cool. Not going to do a review on it because they're still working out some of the kinks. It was running nice and strong for a while. Then it started getting kind of slow. I don't know what the heck happened. I think it's some back-end server issues. But anywho, I've done a video before where I got into like a little text kerfluffle with a young lady on Tonic about one of her comments about riding with new riders. And of course, I'm a firm believer of you're entitled to your own opinion. I have a very opinionated person, and I believe you're entitled to your own opinion. But just because you have an opinion doesn't mean people have to like it. A lot of people with strong opinions fail to, I don't know, realize the second part of that. Like, you can say what you want, freedom of speech, all that crap. I don't have to like what you say, and you don't have to like what I say, but I'm okay with that. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and post some of the text, the chat thread, from a straight up, what I believe to be, as you would say, asshat, that I got into a little argument with. So excuse the spelling, grammatical errors, but I'm not a keyboard warrior. I don't type as fast as I think, and sometimes the autocorrect just does a horrible job. So feel free to pause the video and read the thread. And after you've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the topic. So the gist of the thread was a writer posted that, hey, you know, he was feeling a certain way about getting back on the motorcycle after he had a life-changing wreck. So this topic is about motorcycle fear. There's tons of fears for a person to have on a motorcycle. Fear of speed, fear of crashing, fear of being hit, fear of not being seen. You know, there's a multitude or combination of all of those things together. And the human brain, first off, I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or any type of professional in the mental health realm, but I know that the human brain is all kinds of complicated, and sometimes it's all kinds of simple. It's unpredictable at best, and different things affect different people in different ways. There is no canned answer, canned situation on how to deal with fear on a motorcycle, especially when that fear was put into you by an external source. So this guy was in a wreck. He didn't do it to himself. Like, I wrecked my bike, and I was scared to get on the bike. I was more embarrassed than anything because I did it to myself. Nobody did anything to me. A car didn't come into my lane. A bird didn't fall out of the sky. You know, a piece of an airplane didn't fall out of the sky and hit me. You know, some debris didn't take me out of the road. I didn't hit a pothole and my tire flipped over. Nobody stopped too fast in front of me. So it was not a situation that something outside, some external force, put me in. So I reacted very differently. I was actually more embarrassed than afraid. But to this day, I'm still spooked. I get spooked. Like, I want to do wheelies, but I wrecked my bike. I jacked myself up a little bit. I didn't get super hurt. I was just tender for a while because I bounced around like a ping pong ball for 40, 50 feet. Wasn't too long, but felt like a day and a half for me traveling. And I every time I want to do one, I just think about that incident. So I can understand where this gentleman's coming from when he simply asked, hey, is it weird for you to feel fear? You know, I don't remember it verbatim, but of course I've posted the text thread screenshots when getting on a motorcycle after a life-changing wreck. So something happened to this guy to where it was enough for him to say it changed his life. And of course, a couple of us chimed in support and going, hey, one dude was just like, yeah. You know, I said what I had to say. Another person who had been in a very, very bad accident said what she had to say. And I was like, damn, that took the cake. I just jacked myself up trying to do a wheelie. Ain't nothing like what she went through. And we're all just giving our various opinions on, yes, it's okay, it's normal to feel that fear. And then Captain Asshat jumps into the thread in between comments saying how tough he is, and if you let this affect you, you shouldn't be on a motorcycle, and you know, you got PTSD, you know, don't be so, basically saying don't be a wimp, bruh. Like, you know, don't let this fall affect you. He didn't say I had a fall. I fallen quite a bit, actually. My first year riding, me and Gravity had a love-hate relationship. I've mentioned that before. I got most of my falls out of the way day 2, 3. I was really adamant about getting over that part of my life where I wanted to just surpass the falls. Let's just say I did that on purpose. Yeah, let's say that. So Captain Asshead jumps in, says what he has to say, and we're like, all right, dude, what the hell are you talking about? He is one of those guys that you can tell is just a troll. Now, mind you, he's basing all of his assumptions and statements off of things that he knows nothing about. Any of us as riders, he said, I ride more than y'all, I'm better than you, I'm better than that. You may be good, but I'm very, very, very good. He's just tooting his own horn, which is fine. I don't know anything about this guy, but I automatically think he's a horrible rider. But then I don't want to get caught up in what we call the fallacy of thinking, right? You're basing your opinions and stuff off of his statements and not his actual skill, or any way that he has proven that he has skill or the lack thereof. So he could be the world's best rider, or he could just be sitting at home riding his couch, or better yet, riding his mom's couch because he's a bum-ass bum. I don't know this, and I can't prove this, so I'm trying to be objective about my statements, but the dude's just pissing me off, and you know how you do when you get upset. You start to fly off the handle a little bit, and I'm trying to rein it in, and I'm trying to deal with all this stuff because I'm like, dude, as an NCO in the military, of course I mention that a lot, but most likely, or more importantly, as a parent, dealing with a kid, dealing with my wife, or my wife dealing with me, I have found that no one situation fits anybody the same. There's over 7 billion people on this planet, and you cannot tell me that you can just give this dude a blanket response and say, hey, if this affects you, you should stop riding motorcycles forever. That kind of sucks, dude. Like, that kind of advice for somebody is crap, and I told him that it was crap, and I told him he was crap, but I used a more descriptive 4-letter word, which I like to say it a lot because it's so awesome and it's so to the point. But in the long run, this guy was basically being a bully. You know, we tell our kids not to be bullies, we teach people not to be bullies, but as soon as somebody asks a question in an adult forum or has an opinion different than you, you become a bully. So I tried not to do that because this guy had a different opinion than me, but I also was like, hey, this other rider doesn't need me to come to the rescue. This is a grown man, he's got a motorcycle. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, you attack this gentleman because he has a fear, a legitimate fear, while being on a motorcycle, and you told him to stop riding forever. And I told him, like, dude, when your day comes, I hope somebody gives you the same type of advice, because you're obviously a superhero, nothing affects you, and all this other stuff happens. And he's like, yo, he starts talking like he's a Dragon Ball Z character. Like, I only come at you at half power or half throttle. I only ride with people at this skill level and this skill level. I'm like, do you have a meter where you're measuring people's skill level? And then somebody finally asked him, hey bro, what do you ride? He got asked this by a combat veteran, a person who's ridden a motorcycle on multiple continents in multiple different situations and scenarios. Like, he's like, y'all don't ride this, y'all don't do that, and when you sleep, I'm riding, and when you out there in the sun, I'm riding in the rain. I'm like, dude, I ride in the rain on purpose. I ride in the cold. I ride in all types of situations because I love riding. You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about these other people you're responding to. And you don't know anything about the gentleman which you decided to give such horrible response to. But at the same time, great, that's his opinion. The thing I actually want to get to about the topic is motorcycle fear is a thing that can affect you in more ways than one. So you're on your bike, right? You have a fear of something happening to you. You have a fear of an incident. Or you just have whatever you have, PTSD, nervousness. It affects your ability to ride. If it affects your ability to ride, it makes you less comfortable on the bike. It makes you less aware sometimes, or it makes you hyper aware, where you're twitchy, you're jumpy. Any little movement makes you feel unsafe and makes you overreact. If you overreact, you can go into traffic, you can knock off somebody else's reaction time. You could be a hazard to yourself and others. If you have too much fear while you're riding a motorcycle, a healthy dose of fear, or what I like to call a healthy dose of respect for the motorcycle, yes, and situational awareness for those things that are going on around you, yes. But if it is straight up fear, fear will screw you up. And for people who have experienced real fear, it clouds your judgment. It makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do under any normal circumstance. It makes you act unintentionally, and sometimes you do it completely unawares. Like, your body will just do stuff. Your fight or flight responses are primed when you're afraid already. If you have an underlying fear, just like if you have underlying nervousness about anything, why am I sweating? I'm about to take this test. I'm not nervous. I don't feel nervous, but underneath you're nervous. Sometimes fear doesn't have to be outwardly present. It doesn't have to be you shaking in your boots. You can sit there cool as a cucumber, looking calm, chilling like John Wayne, but under the surface, you're freaking out, and that affects you as a rider. And it eventually can affect anybody else, especially if you have a passenger. You're putting yourself and the other passenger in danger because your fear may overwhelm you at some point, and the other person has no idea that you have this issue. So, after saying all of this long-winded explanation, this explanation about the fight that I had with this dude through text, which is crazy, but it was still like, screw this guy. The first step, I believe, in anything, with most things, is admitting that you have an issue. This person admitted that they have a fear, so they know there's something affecting their riding. There's something they can deal with, something they can try to handle, but it's also something that can affect somebody else. Motorcycle fear, like I've been saying, there's no canned way to say, oh, you should do this to get over your fear. I use my motorcycle as a coping mechanism. It makes me happy, it makes me joyous, whatever. I use this because it's fun, it's awesome, I love doing it. I don't want my motorcycle to be a part of the things that I use my motorcycle to get away from or over, right? If this is a tool you use to make yourself feel better, you don't want the tool to be part of the problem. Then it becomes anti-productive. It becomes negative, a part of the negativity instead of eliminating the negativity that you have around whatever sensation or whatever you're going through in life. I say this all the time for military veterans. They use motorcycles as outlets. If your outlet's a part of the problem, then you can't effectively be on the road to recovery. So, motorcycle fear is very real. If you're dealing with fear of your motorcycle, fear of an incident, fear of an accident, fear of past trauma, the best thing for you to do, in my opinion, is to begin by admitting that you realize that you are dealing with fear as the result of whatever happened to you on your motorcycle. Now, if you're dealing with an unbiased fear, like you're just afraid of motorcycles, you've never ridden one, you have to get over that because you're basing your opinion on something you've never experienced, which is very hard to do. You become biased and you've not even experienced it, and that's not fair for yourself because you might join the motorcycle family community and learn that you completely love it, your fears were unbiased, or your fears were unwarranted, and you take it all back. Also, if you don't address your fear, if you absolutely do love motorcycling, eventually it will eat away at you and you will walk away from riding. You walk away from something you love because you can't get over your fear. And at the same time, you don't want to force yourself to get over a fear and put yourself in danger. What I'm saying is it's complicated. It's very complicated, and you can't just say this is what you should do. If you guys got your own tips and tricks for getting over motorcycle fear, getting over the fear of an accident, getting over the fear of a past trauma on a motorcycle related, or any other past traumas, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below. The human mind is very complicated. There are no blanket responses for anybody. That's why people spend years and years and years in therapy, because there is no template to get over fear. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm out.